Now, let me make some intro remarks about the whole area of leadership for all of us. That we all know leadership is influence. And we're constantly influencing one another, either positively or negatively. Right? We're constantly influencing one another. And influence rate is leadership. Alright? Because you're influencing someone either in a right manner or in a wrong manner. We're always doing this all the time. So amongst your friends, you'll find that oftentimes a leader that will serve us. Alright, that will be most influential of the Lord, and the voice of the person carries many times like this. And so it's very important to ask ourselves, what kind of leader or what kind of influence am I exercising? Because in the exercise of it, of influence, that's what leadership is. Secondly, right, we should be influencing people for good, for God and for His glory. As Christians, I'm talking about, okay, that every one of us, as we're involved in influencing, at our heart we influence people for good, not just only for good for God, but also for His glory. Listen, we really want to see at the end of whatever we do, it will bring honor and glory to God. Listen, right? Thirdly, we expected to lead, okay, but also to be good role models to everyone. All right? Not just only to lead, but expected to be good role models. And that's the tough part about Christian leadership, really. It is not just talking about it, right? It is living it up. It is setting an example to others around us, okay? So that we pray by the grace of God as we lead and set an example, give a good example, right? And pray for it, an attractive example with people around us, okay? Right? I think that's very important for us. What are some of the keys with regards to godly leadership, okay, for all of us? I think the first key, okay, about this is that we must lead with spirituality. Right? Because Christian leadership is spiritual in nature. Right? And if we're not spiritual in nature, then we forfeit actual Christian leadership. And therefore, in the election, for example, of leaders of the church, sometimes we just look around to elect or to appoint whoever. We must be looking first and foremost not on the qualifications of the person, not on the titles of the person. We should look first and foremost whether the person is a spiritual person. Beyond all the titles, whether Tanstris, Datos, whatever, all unimportant. Beyond all the qualifications, like MSc, BSc, AMD, like that, it's unimportant. Right? Some people have got BAs. BAs sometimes can stand for bad energy. Say to your neighbor, he's not talking about you. Because I know Tamil church people waiting, all decide to read the Bible and dying to read the Bible. Amen? Amen. Alright, okay, so come, let's read together. Okay, together. Brothers, choose 7 men from among you who are known to be full of the Spirit and wisdom, and we will turn this responsibility over to them. You see, friends, the choice of leaders here, just waiting on tables. It's not even called spiritual leadership because they are just electing people who will oversee the distribution of food, isn't it? Alright, in that sense, we will say choosing of deacons. Okay? Alright, in the community like this of God's people, look for people who are not only full of wisdom, but also full of Spirit, full of the Holy Spirit. Alright? If a person is full of the Holy Spirit, it means a person is spiritual. Isn't it? Alright? A spiritual person will always be full of the Spirit. So if the person is not full of the Spirit, the person is not spiritual. Alright? And so very, very important, okay? And interestingly, they said choose people who are full of the Holy Spirit. And that's what happens. If you're full of the Spirit, people can see it. People can see it. That was how you choose. When you say choose people full of the Spirit, it means if you're full of the Spirit, people can see it. How is it sure when a person is full of the Spirit? That person will bear the fruit of the Holy Spirit. Right? What is the fruit of the Holy Spirit? Comes up in 9 facets, as we all know. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. So we read many facets now. Right? That we are a loving person, full of love, grace, okay, self-control, patient, gentle, kind, thoughtful, considerate, that kind of thing. You know, these are important marks because it's a reflection of the work of the Holy Spirit in our lives. And so if we don't have that, right, then we've got a problem. You know, if we're oftentimes enraged, filled with anger, we've got a problem. You know, that will disqualify us as leaders. So very, very important to see that is grace and graciousness increasing, reflecting all the wonderful attributes that the Holy Spirit work in our lives like this. And so therefore it's spiritual in nature, first and foremost. That's what we should be looking for. Okay. Secondly, what happens is that so spiritual person is critical criteria for Christian leadership. Then we, as Christian leaders, must live with a sense of call. There's a call of God upon our lives, isn't it? And so Ephesians chapter 1, verse 4, alright, together. As a prisoner for the Lord, then, I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received. Okay? Worthy of the calling you received. So there's a call of God upon our lives, isn't it? Alright? And so, how do we know God's call? God will speak to us. As we seek God's face and pray, God will begin to speak to us and prepare us, increasing in a certain direction as we explain His purpose for us. Okay? And sometimes the call can be quite frightening, but we must respond to the call of God. Amen? Okay, and so here's an example of the call that is in a sense quite frightening to little young Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 1, verses 4 to 8 together. The word of the Lord came to me, saying, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. I'm sorry, Lord, I say, I do not know how to speak. I'm only a child. But the Lord said to me, do not say I'm only a child. But you must go to everyone I send you to, and say whatever I command you. Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you, and will rescue you, declares the Lord. You see the last sentence? It says, do not be afraid, for I am with you, and will rescue you. What does it mean? Hey, my friend, you're going to be in trouble, in serious trouble. Hello? Anyone, if you God calls you, God said, watch out, you watch out, you're going to be in trouble. Anyone? Thank God. He doesn't do his army. Right, thank God for that. And so I remember when I was doing my master's in engineering in England, increasing sense of call upon my life. God says to me, I want you to go full time. What do you say? I want you to go full time. Then I came back and told my family members, at that time they're all not Christians. You can imagine how angry they were with me, because they're not Christians come with me. Alright? But it's very, very important, okay, for us to listen to the voice of God and respond. So because okay, you're all disagreeable, I thought maybe we can do some work, some decent work. So I ended up as a lecturer here in Kuala Lumpur, in Town College, for 6.5 years. But the call of God upon my life is still clear. I kept that clear, that I know one day I'll respond. So 6.5 years later, I went back and told my family members. Okay, at that time, I was married with a 5-year-old son. Just went back, this time, okay, went back just to inform my mother. If you don't like it, that's your problem. But praise God, in 6.5 years, I led my mom to Christ. I led my mom to Christ. So when I went back and told her, Mom, I'm going full time. You know what she said to me? It's a good idea. Oh, I almost fell out of the chair. I said, 6.5, you're going to kill me. Oh my God, it's a good idea. And like all good mothers here, you know what she said? The next sentence, how much will you do? And all the good mothers said, that's natural. We have been sent for you, better survive or not. You got a wife and a 5-year-old kid, you know better to survive. But friends, you'll find if you answer, respond to the call of God, this God of God will always be faithful. Amen. He will never shortchange us. Amen. Okay, my son today is 37 years old now. Sent him to England to do engineering, likewise. I sent an engineer at his factory, he's really working. And God has blessed him with a wonderful job. Okay, and 2 children as well that he's got. Okay, so I'm a Dato 2 times over. And that's the best kind of Dato should want, because that one cannot be taken away. Hello? All the others no guarantee. Okay. And so it's very important to respond, okay, to the call of God, isn't it? As God tells Jeremiah, even when you were young, even before you were formed in this womb, I knew you. Called you, isn't it? And so friends, that's a call of God upon our lives, and it's so important to respond to the call. Okay? Because this call will always be faithful. He will never ever shortchange us. I'm sure they'll ask these 2 reverends to give testimony. I'm sure they'll say the same as well. Amen? I suppose no choice than to say amen. It's a joy to serve the Lord, really. It's a huge honor. Amazing blessing. There's a Pastor Adrian say, hey, come, let's serve the Lord full time. Okay, not full time, overtime. For him, it's overtime because he's got a job and he still works full time as a pastor. And so he just told me just a few days ago, he's going to conduct a wake service. And we do this all the time. Okay, in fact, this week I had to do 2 wake services, or two different persons, and we do this all the time. And by the way, when we do quick services, you see, TMC gets all kinds of calls, okay? And we got a call from this Dato guy many years ago, say, I'm Dato so my mother just passed away. Can you do funeral for us? We are all not Christians. You know what we say? You know what I say? Yes, we'll do it. Even not Christians, we'll do it. You know what? Don't say anything about the day. Whether Christian, don't say anything about the day. Just thank you for coming. The family appreciates that. Now preach to the living and frighten them all into heaven. Amen. Yeah, frighten them all into heaven. Because they all don't realize how good being a Christian is. Amen. How good really to be part of the kingdom of God. How good to know we're destined for heaven rather than for hell. Isn't it? And so that's the best time really to fighting death. Because when you're faced with death, we ought to realize there's a wake-up call upon all of us. Amen. Because life is short and time is precious. Amen. Isn't it? So we live with a sense of call upon us. Okay? So the idea of call is a vocation. Isn't it? Call is a vocation, as we all know. Okay, and it is a privilege call. Isn't it? Imagine to be called by the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. What a privilege. Amen. Isn't it? Not only that, it is a purposeful call. God always calls us for a purpose. It's a very, very purposeful tool in fulfilling what He has called us to. Not only that, it's a powerful call, because the Almighty God of the universe has put His hand upon us. So it's an amazing, amazing call that God has issued to all of us like this. Now, thirdly, we need to lead with character. Alright? Character. Okay, so 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 5, 6, and then verse 10. Alright? Come together. You know we never use flattery, nor do we put on a mask to cover up greed. God is our witness. We are not looking for praise from man, not from you or anyone else. As apostles of Christ, we could have been a burden to you. You are witnesses, and so is God, of how holy, righteous, and blameless we were among you who believe. You see, Paul shares very frankly, honestly about who they are. Isn't that okay, there is no greed, there is no hidden agenda, okay? And there were people who are open, who are transparent in so many different ways like this. And so therefore, friends, it is about integrity, about accountability, as well as transparency. But in our leadership, okay? So that we always walk open before one another. In other sense, in our lives, there should be one whereby there is nothing to hide. If there is nothing to hide, then there is nothing to prove, nothing to lose, and nothing to fear. Nothing to be afraid, because that's what you are. You see? So there is no mask whatsoever. We are open, we are transparent, we are genuine, we are honest, we are very, very important. And that's the kind of character that God wants you and I to have. Okay? And we're going to make sure that we don't exchange our character for cash. Don't become greedy about money, because when you greed about money, you can get into serious trouble. In fact, I got a wonderful mathematical formula, which is this: alright, cash, okay, minus character, exchange our character for cash. Okay, cash without character, cash minus character equals catastrophe. Equals is disaster. This is some people have got very bad reputation. Why? Because unfortunately they exchange their character for cash. They're doing things, they have a lot of money, but we know money is earned in an unrighteous manner. They say money is earned in a compromising manner. It's not worth it at all. We can have a multi-billion and so on. Our character, our integrity is critical for all of us to say in our lives. So a Christian leader must be one, okay, that has a character, for it like this. Then, fourthly, lead with commitments. Paul writes, to us, 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 3. We continue to remember before our God and Father your work produced by faith, your labor prompted by love, and your endurance inspired by hope in our Lord Jesus Christ. Is it amazing the kind of commitments? Labor produced by love. The word labor actually in the original Greek means toil. It means really hard work. Toiling away. And that's a kind of commitment that Apostle Paul and his team will put themselves through. Willing to go all the way, no matter how hard, how difficult, how demanding it may be, right towards the work of the Lord. And that's what is needed, for all of us. There's no holds bound. And this is why I'm so appreciative. I'm sure your church and the leaders, I'm so appreciative of my leaders, the elders, where we started the church together from day one. This was 38 years ago. Okay, and the same team are still there. Same team of people, all right, they're still there together in the work of the kingdom. Okay, and for us, when we started off at that time, we are all professionals in our different jobs. Okay, some of these are dentists, accountants, general manager of the company. I was working as a lecturer. What happens at the drop of a hat in the middle of the night, I call them. There's an emergency, something to respond to. There's a need to visit someone. We all at the drop of a hat just rise up and let's go. It's not a business. It's perfect. Next day we're going to go to work. Let's go. Eventually go. Amen. And that's what is needed, friends. You will build something that's strong and solid for the work of God's kingdom. Amen. Listen. All right. And so therefore, we must be wholehearted, full-blooded, and totally committed, okay, to the work like this. Number 5, we need to lead with competence. All right. What is this competence? Okay? All right. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verses 34 to 37 about this young little David. You see how competent he is in a sense when he responded, okay, to that King Saul. Now, let's read together. But David said to Saul, your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off the sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it down, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it and killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because it defied the armies of the living God. The Lord has delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear, who delivered me from the hand of the Philistine. Saul said to David, go, and the Lord be with you. You see, you notice here, right? David is very, very confident because he developed it in the quietness of the desert, as well as in the quietness of the fields, where he developed a skill of dealing with wild animals of all kinds, whether lions or bears or whatever else, like you say, with snakes and scorpions and so forth, isn't it? And so therefore, over time, you notice David continued to grow in greater and greater competence. And so likewise, friends, for all of us in our leadership. And this is a good thing about leadership. Because why? We find that we can grow in our leadership. Okay? Right? We all can grow in our leadership. Okay? Some of you believe leaders are born. Can you see your hands? Okay, 1, 2. Alright. How many leaders are made? Alright, okay, most of us. Both are correct actually. Some people are just born natural leader. But not. Some people are just born natural leader. Okay? Our little granddaughter, she's only 3 years old. First day she went to kindergarten at the age of 2 years and 2 months. She just walked right in. And she walks around with no fear, nothing whatsoever. She owns all the old class around the teacher, around the kind of thing. Alright, very, very confident. Alright, nobody taught her about this, not because she's a granddaughter of a pastor, no, nothing whatsoever. She walks in like that. You know? Some people are born with a natural boldness, okay, and some people are born with the natural ability to take control, whatever. Right now, okay, and some people can help the parents off, okay, like that. Alright. Now, some people are born. But on the other hand, leaders can also be made. In fact, most leaders are made. Isn't it? So it can be both. It can be partly born, partly made as well. But the wonderful thing is, because we will not be born as a leader. Leaders can all be made. Leaders can all be made. We can all grow in our leadership. And the key is this: are we willing to learn? Are we teachable? That's the key. Okay? So I appreciate you all actually. The fact you come to this seminar means you want to learn, you want to grow, and together. Listen, okay, I've learned and grown over the years. I'm so grateful to God. Why? Because, for example, in the leading of UMC, we started off with 22 adults and 3 young children. Right? Okay? And so therefore, I led the church from day one. Was also working as a lecturer. So I had 2 jobs at the same time. And so therefore, I was overtime because I holding 2 jobs, and then many years later I became full-time, and the rest of you all the time. Amen? Because there are no part-time Christians. Right. And so what I do is to let the church, and the church grew slowly. Initially 30, 40, 50, 70, 80, and then 100, and then 200, and 300. When they came on board full-time, alright, After 6.5 years later, I resigned to become General Secretary of the NECL, this National Evangelical Christian Fellowship of Malaysia. Some of you would know. So I was General Secretary for 10 years, while at the same time leading TMC as well. And 10 years later, I resigned and come in as full-time senior pastor at TMC. That was at the end of 1995. Okay. The church at that time, when they came in, was about 250 people. In 11 years, it grew 10 times. It grew to 2,500. Today, we got 4,500 to 5,000 people come, right? In 6 language groups, okay? Not just English, this is the main one. We got it in Chinese, okay? In Tamil, in Bahasa, in Nepalese, and in Myanmarese, the Myanmar congregation. Our Myanmar congregation is running about 1,000 today, okay? And they meet on the Tuesday midnight. How do you like that? Midnight service. And it's not just once a while. It is every Tuesday midnight. You know why? Because they all come up from work from the restaurants wherever at about 10 p.m., 10:30, you know? And they go back to the quick wash up, and then they come. Okay? Alright? Of course, we have two worship services for them. Tuesday midnight, where the majority of them come, and then Sunday afternoon. Alright? Some of them are free on Sunday afternoon, and so they choose to prefer to come. And so therefore, Sunday afternoon, we got about 200 of them, but Tuesday midnight, we got about 700-800 coming like this. And last year, when our Myanmar church did the Christmas outreach, okay, on the Tuesday midnight in December, Christmas outreach, over 6,000 people tonight. Okay? And that's what it is. And hundreds of get saved. I think that time the salvation close to about 700 people. The year before, over 1,000 people got saved like this. And this is amazing, isn't it? And so we find that therefore, in this regard here, okay, as I came in, alright, the church started to grow more and more. And so therefore, for example, when I came here, it was about 250, 300 people, and the church grew to 500, 600, 800, 1,000. I've never led a church of that size. So what do I need to do? I must learn. Hello? Isn't it? I must learn how to lead and how to lead better. Isn't it? So therefore, I run to all kinds of places and I learn from it. And there's many people, and especially from books. Isn't it? How to lead, how to do that, how to this, how to that, how to the other. You know? And so therefore, if we've got a teachable heart, we can always learn, we can always do, we can always become better. Alright? Learn from people, learn from books, learn from seminars, learn from whatever training. Alright? You said come alongside people, hear them, hear from them, hear their stories, what they do about this, that, and the other. Amen. It's very, very good. Now 2 years ago I stepped down as senior pastor when I turned 65. And so nowadays I help churches in the transition leadership. Right? And so in fact 2 months from now I'm down in Singapore. We'll be helping the church to transit the leadership. Okay, the father was leading the church. To the church we had 12,000 people. Alright? And he's 74 years old. But he has not thought seriously about transiting leadership to the next generation. So I need to go in and tell him nicely, hey my friend, you don't live forever. Hello? We all don't live forever. Hello? Isn't it? That's why sometimes I tell all this all, it is good once in a while to go and visit cemeteries. Now don't go every day, okay? People, something is wrong with you. But once in a while it's good to go. Amen? Hey, don't believe that all of you. Amen? Listen, why is it so good to go? 3 important reasons. Alright? When we go there, what happens is, it reminds us about mortality of life. We don't live forever. Right? We don't live forever. You just walk around the tombstones, you can see all that are picked out there. Isn't it? Alright? 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, even 100 years or 120 years. We're all going to die one day, isn't it? So especially bring young people along. Then they all realize that they don't live forever. Because nowadays young people think they live forever, isn't it? Alright, so it reminds them of gravity of life. But second, it reminds them of gravity of life. How brief, how short life is. Right now, what is 80 years, 100 years compared to the whole of eternity? Right? Nothing. It's a blip, and it's all over. Isn't it? It's all over. It's like just this week itself, as mentioned, I did 2 week services. One of them, did his week. Okay, he's only 60 or 62 years old, which is very young, you know, for today's standards. Amen. Okay, somebody did not say amen. Listen, which is very young for today's standards. It sounds negative because I'm more than 65 now. Is it? And so what happens is that it reminds us about gravity of life, isn't it? Alright. But thirdly, most importantly, friends, not just about mortality in life, about gravity of life, third most about urgency for life. We must strive first to become more urgent in living, more urgent, maximizing our time for life. This is very important, alright? How many of us, we feel nowadays, time seems to pass by very fast? Actually, it's the same. Oh, we said time to feel goes by very fast. Can I see your hands? Okay, look around. All the hands are all old people. Young people. Your hand also are. Oh, yeah. I like that. This unusual church. Oh, the young people also have time passes very fast. But we tend to feel, isn't it? My goodness, it's scary for me to think I'm truly aging towards 70 years old. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know what I mean? Just like that, isn't it? Time passes very, very fast. You know why it passes very fast? Because I compare to life like a toilet roll. Why you look at me like that? Do we use toilet rolls? We use it. Why? I compare life like a toilet roll. You know why? Because the more you use, the faster it rolls. Right now. Hello? And the problem is, you cannot try the toilet and slow down, so it will just go faster and faster. So therefore, life is like a toilet roll. And I say to all of us, before the road rolls up, let's maximize our life. Hello? Isn't it? Because the runway for some of us is so much shorter than the runway we have covered. That's the reality of life, isn't it? Alright? The runway ahead of us is so much shorter now compared to the runway we have covered. But before the runway runs out, friends, let's max out our life. And a good amen for that, isn't it? And so therefore, friends, we will lead really with as much competency as possible, as much skill as possible. Alright? And we can learn, we can grow in it and learn from people. We are on a journey with that. Ask them to speak to us, ask them to mentor us. So I'm involved with mentoring pastors, alright, in this country as well as overseas. It says all kinds of people. Mentoring business leaders, CEOs of companies, mentoring people in the music industry, alright, like Jackie Victor, the first Malaysian Irish, is part of the mentoring group, and various people like this, including politicians as well. So we can learn and grow together. Amen, isn't it important? So that we improve with our skill sets, okay? We begin, alright, with increasingly good skill sets so they know how to lead well. Okay? Number 6, we must lead with convictions. Right? So here's a good example in the Bible of Joseph in the Bible about his convictions in life. What is it? This is a record for us. Genesis 39, verses 6 to 10. Come, let's read about him. This young man called Joseph at the time of time together. So he left in Joseph's care everything he had. With Joseph in charge, he did not concern himself with anything except the food he ate. Now Joseph was well built and handsome. And after a while, his master's wife took notice of Joseph and said, "Come to bed with me." But he refused. "With me in charge," he told her, "my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns is entrusted to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master does nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How then can I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her or even be with her. So amazing, he said, he's a young lad, okay? Although he was tall, dark, and handsome, alright? Right, very, very young lad. And here is Mrs. Potiphar, okay? Unfortunately, a very straight lady who is trying to tempt him, okay? You notice it says, second last sentence, and she spoke to Joseph day after day. Scary, isn't it? I can think of a Bollywood movie. Episode number 1, Laila, no. Episode number 2, day 2, hey, come, no. Episode number 3, hey, mari, cepat, no. Every day Joseph is with that temptation. Day after day, imagine. So if you're not strong, right, about right and wrong, you'll compromise. Right? You'll compromise. Okay? Therefore, as leaders, we must be people of real clear convictions about right and wrong, okay? About what is good, what is bad, what is acceptable from what is unacceptable. Someone wants to talk to you, and the boss tells you, tell him I'm not in. What do? You pick up the receiver. Sir, my boss asked me to tell him he's not in. You'll be in deep trouble, isn't it? Serious work, so what do you do? Because the boss expects you to lie. Crazy, is it? See, some bosses expect you to lie with people outside, but expect to be honest with him always on the inside. Totally inconsistent, ridiculous, isn't it? And that's what this guy said. We're working with a huge company in London. When the boss, big boss, asked him, tell the young guy I'm not in. You know what he said to the boss? Boss, you know what? If I can lie for you, I can also lie to you. Hello? Are you there? If I can lie for you, I can also lie to you. You see, bosses expect us all to be consistent with them on the inside, but inconsistent with people on the outside. Okay. Unfair, unjust. Hello? Are you there? Isn't it? So it's very important. Our convictions must be really clear about what is acceptable, what is unacceptable in our place of work, in our business deals, alright? Wherever we work, does not matter, including in our home as well. Isn't it? Very, very important, okay, for all of us. Seventhly, we must lead with clarity. Alright? Real clarity of mind, like this. And so, this is what Jesus himself said, okay? Alright? He told him this parable. Can a blind man lead a blind man? Will they not both fall into a pit? Blind cannot lead the blind, isn't it? Okay? Alright, very, very important for us to make sure that, okay, we can see clearly so that we are leading people in the right direction. Isn't it? Now, people need to be led. People want to be led. You know? People need to be led, people want to be led. You notice, for example, in the Gospels, you notice, wherever Jesus went, crowds of people gathered around him. Isn't it? Wherever he went, crowds of people gathered around him. And not just that, sometimes Jesus took off into a boat and went to the other side of the Sea of Galilee. Alright, and what happens when they arrive? Crowds of people follow him onto the other side as well. Don't know how come they do it, okay, like this, but they follow him wherever he went. So, people want to be led, people need to be led. Okay? And therefore, you and I must understand that for a leader, for you and I, we must be clear about where we're leading people to. So therefore, in a church context, for example, am I leading people to become more spiritual in the Lord? Hello? You see, in my teaching, in my preaching, in my leadership, am I leading them and together we're growing spiritually in the Lord? Alright? If we're not growing spiritually in the Lord, then something's not quite right in our leadership as Christians, as Christian leaders. Listen, then how do I determine when people are growing spiritually in the Lord? It is not just how much knowledge they get. More than that. It's not just only how much spiritual knowledge or how much of the Bible they get. It is how they live their lives. Listen, it's how we live our lives. It's their grace and graciousness. It's their kindness. It's their thoughtfulness. It's their regard in taking sin seriously. Taking compromises seriously. That we don't fool around, play around with sin. And it's that greater control of our temper. Because one of the fruit of the Holy Spirit is self-control, isn't it? So is that greater control of my temper in life? Or am I like a yo-yo going up and down? One moment I'm very, very happy, next one, boom, how can we explode in anger, bitterness? Then we got a problem. Hello, are you there, sir? Alright? We may not be so much grow increasing. Alright, little by little we grow, become more Christ-like and angry, more gracious, more humble, more gentle in our lives. And so therefore, friends, as leaders, we're going to lead people in this direction, so everybody is clear about who we are, what we are, and where we are going together. We're going to become more Christ-like in every way. Alright? Like this. Which one I said, leader must be clear, where she is she, because before we can be leading others. So we ourselves must be clear in the first place. If ourselves are not clear, we cannot lead others along. Okay? Alright? It requires wisdom and good judgment each time. So therefore, for a leader, am I growing in greater wisdom? Am I growing in better judgment about right and wrong, about good and bad, about what is acceptable from what is not acceptable? Am I growing with greater insights and understanding? Am I growing, for example, in a greater understanding of the Word of God? Am I taking time with God's Word? Listen, this book, by the way, is the most important book in the whole world. Spend time in this book more than anything else. So spend lesser time in her word, his word, whatever word. Spend more time in the Word of God. Hello? Okay? Don't spend so much time in newspapers as well. All right? Spend more time in this book. Sometimes you spend so much time in newspapers. How many you still read newspapers nowadays? Here it is. Oh, still God. Oh, God bless you. Okay? Nobody say, don't belong to Jurassic Park species. Okay. All right. Nowadays, I seldom read newspapers. Okay, if I do read, you know how I read newspapers? I read from the back to the front. Okay, why? Because if you read from the back to the front, it always tells you the truth from the back. The more front you go, the less truth you get. So the back portion is a sports pages. It only tells you the truth about sports. It's about the team. How many go? Okay, so read my team that I support Manchester United. How many support Manchester United? Only one. My going to read the play for this year. Sorry. All right. There's one family. They told me, Pastor Dana, our team is called ABU. He said, what is ABU? I want to know because they all know I support Manchester United. What is ABU? You know what is ABU? He said, ABU stands for anything but United. All of you. We have fun with chat talk, that kind of thing. All right, like this. And so you read from the back, he's always telling you the truth. And then the next column after sports, obituary, isn't it? It always tells you the truth. I know. It is like this. It is like this. American comedian by the name of George Burns, who passed away at the age of 93. He says, every morning when I wake up, I read the obituary column first. Okay? And he said, if I see my name up there, I go have a good breakfast. Crazy man. Alright. So what happens is that we must go increasing clarity in whatever we read. So deeper understanding, deeper sense of all God's purpose for our lives. Amen. Is it? Okay? And then lead with courage. Alright, a leader must be courageous. Very important. Okay? A leader cannot be lacking in courage. Okay? And you notice is that in what Paul writes in 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 8 and then 16 to 18 come together. So do not be ashamed to testify about our Lord, or ashamed of me, his prisoner, but join with me in suffering for the gospel by the power of God. So Paul says, don't be ashamed. Paul says, be bold, be courageous, even about the gospel. Even about reaching out to share the good news of Jesus Christ with whoever and whatever. Listen, just go ahead and share. Right now, although I know laws of this country would allow you to share a certain segment, share now. Hello? At most you go to prison only what? Right now. And there's free food, free housing provided for you. What a good deal. Okay, and I'm sure Reverend Herbert John, Reverend Justin will come and visit you. Okay? But if I'm in there, they should just come and visit. You should come and take my place. Alright? But share. Why? Because you see, how many of us believe, okay, becoming a Christian, how many of us become Christian, the best thing that happened to us in our lives? The best thing that happened. Becoming a Christian. Hey, those hands are not going to pray for you. You need some prayer. You see, I came from a Buddhist background. We are Buddhist background. When I came to faith in Christ as a high school teacher, I struggled like crazy. Even if I went to actual Methodist school, primary school, secondary school, don't know what kind of Methodist school, never tell me challenge my faith in Jesus, or don't go to chapel, that kind of thing. So I struggled like crazy. It's only first year of my teaching, right, in the high school, I came to faith in Christ because I felt something missing. Something. What's the meaning of life? Why am I here? Where am I going? Okay? What's the purpose of it all? What's the meaning? I really struggled like crazy. It is out of that I came to faith in Christ. Okay? Not that I'm a bad person. It radically turned my life around. Not that I'm a bad person. I'm very decent looking like all of you. Amen? Alright? But just something is missing. And when I came to faith in Christ, it is just so amazing. It was dramatic, radical change and transformation. Alright? So that's why I give up my engine to become a pastor. Because knowing Jesus is so good. Alright? Amen? Amen? And if knowing Jesus is so good, how can we not share with people? Hello? If knowing Jesus is so very good, How can we not share with people? We must share. In fact, I would go to extent, it's a crime not to share. You see? In fact, this guy, you might come across his video on YouTube by the name of Nabil Qureshi. Okay, so you know, Nabil Qureshi is the associate of Dr. Rani Zacharias, okay, in his team of apologies. He passed away sadly last year, October last year, only at the age of 34. He came from a Muslim background, struggled like crazy, he was challenged about his faith in Islam. He was very, very committed to his faith in Islam, convinced it's the right way, and go all out to try to convert people if possible.